Morning.
Morning.
Last weekend, our youth group went on a mission trip, and I will be talking about the church service at the other church. So when we went there on Sunday morning, they started off with 3 to 4 songs, or possibly more, I can't remember. And they played similar songs to ours, like 10,000 Reasons. After we sang those songs, we had like a little break, and we greeted people for 10 minutes maybe. And they had like donuts, so we all had donuts, so it was pretty cool. And I thought that was pretty cool because it was kind of like how we greet each other, except it was kind of extended into how we all eat afterwards, so just kind of in the service. When we came back, we sang some more songs. Their band was, I believe, 2 acoustic guitars, drums, and a piano, and it sounded pretty good. I really liked the music they played. It was kind of upbeat, like our second service.
Sorry.
Sorry. Their sermon, I kind of fell asleep during it. Because we were all tired because of reasons unknown. But after asking around, I remembered one part of the sermon, and it was the origin of Valentine's Day, because it was Valentine's Day on that Sunday. And it was because of St. Valentine getting his head chopped off. So that kind of represents love, I guess. And then we went off to Sunday school, and my Sunday school just watched Star Wars and turned that into a lesson. Thank you.
Sunday night we had youth group with their youth group. So at first I thought that we were going to go downstairs to where we were eating dinner to have youth group, but I was surprised that we went to the sanctuary. So it was kind of like a mini church service. They played songs again. They also read scripture. So halfway through it we shared what we had done that week. And then we split up into little groups, and we had shared about times that we saw God in our lives. So 2 examples really stuck out to me. One of them was I think it was 3 years ago, they had gone to a youth group, they had gone on a mission trip to New Orleans. So they went to a house that a drug addict lived there, and so he was kind of showing them around. So then they came up to this big picture of Jesus, and he said, "This is the only reason that has kept me going through all these hard times." So that's the picture that kept me going the entire time. And then another one was, there's this little boy who had gotten heat stroke one day whenever he was playing outside. So as he was laying on his nurse's bed, he had started thinking about why did I get heat stroke, and so he had then, then he started thinking about God, and he thought that he had been praying a lot. So every day after he had had the heat stroke, he prayed every night to God. Then afterwards, we played games with the youth group, so that was pretty fun.
So what I'm going to talk about, this is more of the fun stuff that we did together. Like, we're going to talk about the mission work that we did. So after we did all the mission work for the day, we first went to skate and it's skating. It's making me feel a little older now. It hurt. Although it also brought me back to being a 5th grader, because that's where all the cool kids went. It was a lot of fun. Tried not to fall, only fell once. And so that was pretty fun. And the next day we went to a beautiful art museum at Crystal Bridges. It was fantastic. I loved it. Our tour guide was great. She showed us around. We saw Rosie the Riveter. We saw this really realistic, it was a sculpture literally called Man on a Bench, and figured out that's what it was. But most people thought that it was a real person at first. That's how realistic it was. Then we got to my favorite part, the landscape paintings. I spent about 30 minutes just wandering through there. It was beautiful. So thank you.
Good morning. So on Saturday the 13th, we were split up into 2 groups, the youth group was, and half of us went to Seven Hills Apartments and Transitional Housing for homeless people, and I was with that half. And so what Seven Hills is transitional and permanent housing for chronically homeless people, which means they've been homeless for a consecutive year. And so when we first went in, she was telling us how the people that had lived there before completely trashed the place. They ripped the handrails off the wall, and it was really messy. And so we went in and we straightened it up and cleaned it, got rid of all the trash, and it was really overwhelming for me, and I'm pretty sure others can agree with me that were at the apartments. It was really overwhelming, but it was also really eye-opening because it was just this conditions that the apartment was in was really bad, and we had to go through and clean all that stuff because the others had messed it up, and yeah, it was kind of gross. But anyways, it was really eye-opening because it made me grateful for what I have and what I am able to do in my life, and these people that don't always get those opportunities. And yeah, thank you.
So I was with the half of the youth group in the morning anyways, that went to a warehouse for the Salvation Army. And for the morning, half of us were there, since in the morning the other half got done with the apartments. We just pretty much, since we got there, and the warehouse is just a pit, and there wasn't too much space to really walk around freely or get large boxes through. So we kind of just really cleared up a lot of space and opened it up a lot in the morning, which took all morning really. And we didn't get too much organized, but after our lunch break, we were able to get the whole youth group over there, and they also had some people from another youth group that was there too. And we did a lot of organizing, and they had a big truck that we all put outside equipment into, like lawnmowers and generators, so we put into to get put off to thrift shops. And that's something that kind of came out to me because we were putting all this stuff that was really old, and we probably want it because since we are able to, we want to get the new things and want that come out, a new fancy lawnmower that pushes itself through, so you don't have to put any effort into mowing, or a generator that lasts longer. And even though this older stuff works, we usually end up tossing it. But what we were doing there, we were taking all all that stuff that we might throw away from if we had our own personal warehouse, and we sent them off to be sold instead of just having to go to a garbage dump, which it stood out to me because that's stuff that we would throw away that's pretty much useless now when it could be going to good use for someone else.
So I was also at the Salvation Army, but I was on the painting crew. We painted a men's dorm that housed 12 men, and it was honestly probably the size of the parlor, maybe a little bit bigger, and it slept these 12 men. And it was pretty gross. It needed the makeover for sure. I know Alice and I found like toenails, there was gum, cigarette butts, like it was bad. So we like scraped the walls and we painted them, and it looked so much better by the time we were done. Like, oh my gosh. And like just knowing that these guys were gonna walk in there and it was gonna be like something fresh for them. And they also, we all made a donation of $5 and they got new ceiling tiles in there. And I was informed that the ceiling tiles that were in there previously were when smoking was still allowed in the building, and they were like yellow and gross, and so they needed those too. And so it was just like so much cleaner, and it looked so much better by the time we were done painting. And I know we had a blast in there painting. Like I was painting myself, you know, like we wore old clothes, so it was fun. And I mean, the room just looked like so much better. And then one of the guys that works there, they have like a drug rehab program. And so instead of having to pay for your rehab, you do the work and then your rehab is free. And he was like so thankful that we were there doing it, because he's like, if you guys weren't here, we would have to do this. And so we painted and we got it done, and it was so much fun. And I was so happy that we could help out people that really needed it and fix up a room that really needed to be fixed up. And I don't know if it was said, but we went to Fayetteville, Arkansas, and for those of you that don't know, that's going to be my home next year because I'm going to the University of Arkansas. So I was so excited to spend some time down there, and I met great people at the church, and it just made me feel so much better knowing that I already feel like I have a support system down there that I can go to. And I met the department, the chair of the Department of like Chemistry, which is awesome, and journalism, which I probably won't be in the journalism building. But it was just like an amazing experience, and I'm so glad that I got to show the youth my future home, and it was just an overall great experience. And I'm so thankful for all the chaperones and Jeff that took us on this wonderful trip, and we got to help out so many people. And thank you for you all for praying for us while we were there, and for us getting safe travels back. And it was a great trip. I was so happy. Thank you.
Well, thank you. I know, as all of you said, it was a wonderful experience for you, something that you will always remember. And it does, I think, Joseph, you were touching on it. It makes you realize how much we have and how grateful we have, as he said, for things that we would discard. They're going to be going to someone who doesn't have and will be able to use. So thank you, folks. I think you did great.